Hello everyone, and welcome to this very first episode of Railway Reviews. So, let's begin. And I want to explain Railway Reviews. This is going to still go in reviews, because I changed the playlist from character reviews to just reviews, or to Railway Reviews, and I'm going to essentially call it that. And we're going to be taking a look at one of the first Mattel sets I own, titled I don't remember the title. I think it's like Vicerstown Diesel Works, something like that. I'm not sure. But let's get into this. Starting off in this set, we get a Mattel Wooden Railway Diesel. Mine is a little bit worn down, as you can tell by the edge wear, the big chunk out here, and the Sharpied on bumpers, and the goatee. A standard cargo car, but this time this one is gray, or as in like an iron color, or like a more of a muddier brown color-ish, something like that. And again, it's worn down, and I added the bumpers and cup legs. And then we get a brown reddish cargo bin with Vicerstown Diesel Works on it, and this one is all plastic. And I'll be honest with you, as much of a massive letdown as some of the plastic can be, I'll be honest, I'll take it over Thomas Wood. Thomas Wood is honestly terrible, and I don't ever think it should ever been. I'm glad it got canceled. Excuse me. I forgot to mention, we also get a magnetic cargo piece, listen to the magnet rattle around, of scrap. So I guess that tells you something. We also get a massive Diesel Works crane here with decaled stickers on and the logo right there, as well as hazard stripes, and we get a fairly good green plastic, and this is, in my opinion, where plastic is used appropriately. We got a plastic for the magnet hook there, we got the cranking pump, whatever you want to call it, you got this plastic here, and then you have, of course, the copyrighted information there. And you got the plastic arm, even though I bet this probably could have been made out of wood, although I don't blame people for not wanting to try. This looks incredibly hard to even achieve. And then we get, well, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 pieces of wooden railway curved track and two, count them, 2 wooden railway pieces of track. Straight track. Oh, sorry. And then we get a bit of a wooden railway style Day of the Diesel's arch bridge, where it's 2 pieces of wooden track, and we got this plastic gradient up here showing the iron and steel. And that's pretty cool, I guess. So we're going to jump straight in here and look at the set and how it plays out. Before we continue, I should mention, yes, I am filming this in my basement with a bunch of furniture, so please ignore that. So, starting off here, we essentially start with Diesel, and we take him and this cargo car with the scrap, we drive it around, him around. We drive Diesel around past the, storage bin, up and over the track. Up and over the track, or arch, as always, and then we stop him at the crane, under the crane. Then, zoom in here, we would take our crank, and we would lower the hook, yep, pick it up, and haha, we bring it around here. I think that's one way to play. Whoops. Another way that is probably, we'll get into this here, but another way is taking this cargo bin and putting it right here, and then having the crane lowering it, or, I don't know, something else like that. So I'm going to show you guys the next way to play. I'm guessing that we would take this cargo, this piece of the scrap, lowering it in here, And then, there we go. That. And then we would, start Diesel off, and he would go, around here and under the bridge. We'd take him and put him under, we'd go under the bridge. You bring him around, and then, you drop it in the cargo bin, and you go on your way, hunky-dory, like nothing ever happened. Which seems very fun. And I'll be honest, that is a simple oval set for you, and I will be perfectly transparent. I don't think this is a terrible set. And, some say this is, but I'll be honest, from my perspective, this is more for very young, early engineers. This is for just, beginners. So you gotta understand that, this is just meant for the base level, basic, children, and so you might, I think it's unrealistic to expect, amazing, massive quality from a brand, that owns Hot Wheels, which is Mattel. And we're going to get into that now here because, as we can tell here, if we can even look at these. All right. Looking at the center wheel here, right here, you can tell it says 2012 because every, Thomas Wooden Railway model or toy made after 2012 was, or made after 2012 or whatever, 2013, it was given the, essentially, it said 2012 on it because of, that. But yeah, I think this is a very good set, and it's a very fun set. I think, for a very young child, like say 4 years old, for example, they would probably get a kick out of it because this set is essentially, it's a figure eight, and if I kind of pull out here, you can tell it's literally two oval or two circles with a arch in the middle. And while this might seem extremely, incredibly, small and very, minimalistic, to me, this just isn't, I don't like to look at it that way. I like to look at it as we get a fun, we get a two circle set in one. And you know what? At the end of the day, this set is made for children. And you know what? It is, fun. And I'll be honest, this is just meant for just the basic level of children. And while some of us, like me, who is extremely older and I'm an adult, we might think different, I like to be a little more insightful and believe that, this really isn't terrible. And now that we've gotten that over with, we're going to segue into the next section, which is the fun section. The how would I improve this set, and the and how I played with this when I was a child. So yeah, we'll get into that. So as you can see here, I added a bit more here. We now have a lot more kind of going on here. We have now light up a Cargo Sydney with his, cargo car. We added some Thomas Minis around here. And that's supposed to be the, good God. Right there. I've added Den Dart Diesel, the Adventures form, and I'll show you right here. This is the Adventures. Minis Airy at the back there. Wooden Railway Paxton. Wooden Railway Mattel Timothy. And then, of course, the Diesel there, and then that's a Christmas Diesel, Minis Diesel from the Christmas Advent calendar, and I got the crane there holding a whatever that is meant to be called. I guess I honestly don't know, but anyways, I guess so doesn't this look like a much better set if this was released for older people, like say pre-teens, teenagers, for example? I believe and think that this is a relatively, great start because we got a lot. There's a lot here. We got let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7-ish engines here because you got 4 over here, you got 2 over here, and then that type, and then the minis, of course, and well, those minis could probably be extras. I would probably say, to me, a set like this is probably worth, it's not worth $30. I would say $20, $15, heck, maybe even $10, or, something like that, but, I would not pay $30 for this, although my mom paid for it back in the day. I think this set was released in, it was 2014 or 2015, I think it was. It was around that time. And I will be perfectly honest, not every set is perfect because, this is just a simple oval set for children. And you know what? I'm a 19-year-old man reviewing something for children, and I guess that's kind of interesting. I'm not as perfect as you may think I am, and well, that's fine. But this does look pretty fun because this probably won't a set won't ever be released like this because engines like Den here, he was still using the magnets, but this Adventure's Den is pretty interesting because it's one of the few engines with a chunky cab. But yeah, they probably would not release this set today like this because there's just way too many engines, there's not enough space, and it's just very crammed, I guess you could say. And well, that might be incredibly sad. I think that's fairly realistic. Remember, we're in a real world, realistic scenarios. That's what we expect. But yeah, I'm saying that. So this is the Vicerstown Diesel Works. I'm gonna probably say the set is. And for me, again, while this might look and seem incredibly, well, this is a children's set for me, I'm just going to say, I don't think this is a problem. And to be honest with you, I would rather, there's a bit more entertainment and fun in this than something like Risky Rails Bridge, or not Risky Rail, or Shipwreck Rails Bridge Drop, and the, what is it? Yeah, the Shipwreck Rails Bridge Drop, and the, God Almighty, Sky High Bridge Drop from 2016. Loser. But yeah, to wrap this up, this is just the first episode of this new series, so I'm still kind of working things out. Please excuse and accept all form of, klutziness or, anything, any mistakes I made. But, I'll be honest, at this point, it doesn't really matter. And I'll be honest, considering how Mattel's track record is going on, I think right now Thomas is in a right place, and I think the last 5 years, heck, even the last 10 years, or nearly 11 to 12, almost 13 years, I think we can just at this point learn to be able to accept it, because when Mattel makes something good like this, or whatever this is, I think it's okay. And you know what? I'll accept I think I'm willing to look past the bad Mattel era, meaning Big World Big Adventures to all the way to the end of All Legends Go. But I'll be honest, this isn't terrible. And you know what? Maybe I will do and since we're getting close to the holidays, I think it is appropriate that I reviewed this because this Sydney here is coming up. And if you want to know how this works, it's just a simple like so. So yeah, expect more videos like this of me reviewing these, these smaller sets, quote unquote, and just, expect some of that, because to be honest, this right here is what's going to keep my channel floating for the next 2.5 months until the end of the year. So yeah, I've got a schedule, I got a strict plan in mind, and I'm going to stick to it, and we got this. So yeah, with all that being said, everyone, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.